Market Updates channel. Today is the 13th of December. It is a Wednesday. We're up to hump day. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about what is Bitcoin halving. I have made a video on that in the past, but maybe this one is going to be a lot more specific, a lot more to the point. So let's not delay and get started. Before we do though, make sure to smash up the like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, watch till the very end of the video. I hope that this will provide you with an idea of why Bitcoin is rising and where it's going and what the potential is for the price of Bitcoin by the end of 2024, 2025. Let's go. So what is Bitcoin halving and why is it significant? Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency designed to act as money and a form of payment outside the control of any one person, group, or entity, and thus removing the need for third-party involvement in financial transactions. Now, it didn't really fulfill its promise in the payment sector, as nobody wants to use Bitcoin for payments, or at least not enough people. And perhaps the transaction times are a little bit slow, and perhaps there are a lot of other cryptocurrencies that are maybe perhaps doing a little better job in acting as payments, forms of payments. Nonetheless, Bitcoin is turning into a asset class that allows people to store their wealth and grow their wealth, more importantly, and it dominates the cryptocurrency market so far. So what is Bitcoin halving? A Bitcoin halving, sometimes also referred to as the halvening, is an event where the reward for mining new blocks is halved, meaning miners receive 50% fewer Bitcoins for everything for verifying transactions. If you're not familiar with what mining is, then please, I recommend watching some of my other videos on mining and where mining receives its value. I made a video on how cryptocurrency receives its value and the proof of work idea of proof of work, and why or how value is created through the use of proof of work in cryptocurrency mining. But basically, the first block that was ever mined on Bitcoin produced 50 Bitcoin in that block. And every block ever since for the first 4 years produced that same amount. After the first halving, that amount was slashed, and it continues to be done so every 4 years. The halving occurs every 4 years. Bitcoin launched sometime in 2009, and in 2011, 2 years later, we experienced the first bull market, which was right here. At that time, the price of Bitcoin was around $16.50. After that, we saw a bear market. I did not live through this one. I was not aware of Bitcoin until 2017, sadly enough. So we lived through the bear market right here. Then there was an accumulation period. Then there was an expansion, reaccumulation, and another halving in the early or the late days of 2012. Now every Bitcoin cycle, so the Bitcoin cycles take place every 4 years. They're on a 4-year rotationary period, and I guess despite the fact that people are skeptical about the idea of, you know, this continuation of the same kind of trend and the predictability of it, so far it has been happening, and it's based around the idea or the fact that Bitcoin is being halved, or the production of Bitcoin is being halved, and there are fewer and fewer Bitcoin available on the market, and it takes a lot more money to produce Bitcoin after every halving. So in the late months of 2012, Bitcoin was halved again, and then we saw a bull run up until almost towards the end of 2013, at which point Bitcoin reached around, I guess, $1,100 or so, maybe $1,000 plus or minus. Then there was another bull market, more accumulation, more expansion, reaccumulation. In 2016, another bull market. This is where I got in around 2016, 2017. I first became aware of Bitcoin a little bit too late, and Bitcoin reached a maximum, I think, of maybe $16,000 plus or minus. After that, we saw another bear market, and then which followed towards the end of 2018. There was accumulation, expansion, reaccumulation, and in 2020 right in the middle of the coronavirus, we saw another bull market. During that time, Bitcoin at its lowest, I think in 2020, was at around $4,000 and a bit. And we know what happened then. The cryptocurrency market went berserk. It's not on this chart, but Bitcoin went up to $66,000, I believe. And so that was another bull market which was followed by another bear market that lasted for a very long time, and we're finally through it. So here's the mining Bitcoin production. Keep in mind that there are only 21 million of Bitcoin on the blockchain. So that's how many Bitcoin there will ever be produced. There will never be any more Bitcoins. It's impossible to change that. People can fork the blockchain of Bitcoin and create other Bitcoins and expand the supply of Bitcoin, but they will never be able to change the number of Bitcoin or the actual Bitcoin blockchain. So if somebody decided to fork the blockchain and create, let's say, I don't know, there's so many other ones. There's Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Cash, and other ones. But somebody wanted to create Bitcoin Large and add 20 more million Bitcoin and have a 40 million Bitcoin supply, they could. But of course, that will never be the true Bitcoin. It'll just be another fork, which may or may not be, most likely won't be very successful, just as none of the other Bitcoin forks have been so far. Initially, the blocks from inception in 2009 until 2012, when the first halving took place, the mining blocks produced 50 Bitcoin per block. So every miner that produced a block, miners received 50 Bitcoin. Usually the blocks are, of course, divided between miners, not one single miner produces one single block. Not anymore. Maybe in the heydays, when the difficulty was a lot lower. After that, Bitcoin production was slashed in half, which meant that every block produced 25 Bitcoins. After that, it was 12.5. Then it was 6.25, which is what we're seeing right now. And after 2024, when the halving takes place, there will be 3.125 Bitcoins produced for every block mined. And of course, the number will continue going down. The next halving is 2028, 2032, and then 2034. And this will continue. The issuance of tokens or of coins will continue to drop until there are none left. Here's another chart that kind of shows the swings of highs and lows with the numbers for this year, which is 2021, 2022, and 2023. Right here, we are right here right now. And the projection for the end of 2024, which a lot of people are talking about Bitcoin reaching over $100,000. So right here in 2021, Bitcoin reached about $66,000, and then we saw a bull market going down, and then the next halving is supposed to take place in the beginning of 2024, after which we should see Bitcoin rise above $100,000 based on what we've seen so far. Here's another funky rainbow chart that indicates kind of the trajectory of the Bitcoin moves. The red lines is basically where Bitcoin has topped out and we saw a bear market. The blue line at the bottom is the time of accumulation and the bottom of Bitcoin, and that's kind of where we are right now. I think this chart is a little bit dated. I think we may be somewhere in the green zone right here, but as you can see, it is expected that Bitcoin will once again breach the red line over here, which could go anywhere from 100,000 to, I guess, $500,000 and above, depending on how accurate and how far this Bitcoin will move. And I guess so right now, this is probably the 66. This is 2020, the 2020 double top that we saw, and it didn't actually breach the red line. So expectations are that this time around, after this halving, we will see another breach, which could push Bitcoin above $500,000. That's the prediction. Of course, these are just charts and speculations. We don't know what's going to happen, but with the upcoming ETFs in sometime in January, and the possibility, provided that these ETFs are passed, which basically means that there would be trillions of dollars up for grabs and on the table to be placed into invested into the cryptocurrency markets, into Bitcoin and Ethereum. There is a chance that this chart will be accurate and we will see a breach of the red line, possibly. Plan B continues making his predictions, and this is a chart for Plan B. Right now, 2022. This is also a little dated. We are in 2023, and I believe the green line is above here. But Plan B also is looking at predictions of Bitcoin above 100,000. As a matter of fact, it looks like he is looking at a Bitcoin above $1 million, around $1 million by the year 2025. Now, whether that's going to happen or not, I mean, these are grandiose predictions. Another chart showing Bitcoin rallies and the X amount. So 2011, we saw a 5x. Then in 2014, a 93x, 3.4x, 30x, 7x, and so on and so forth. We've got a few more months, actually a few more days, weeks, a couple of weeks until the end of 2023. Right now, Bitcoin is at $40,000, so this prediction is actually wrong, I guess, unless it dips again. And so the prediction here is talking about $147,000 Bitcoin. NiceHash is a nice, cool Bitcoin halving countdown, and it says that there are 123 more days left, and the halving is supposed to take place on April 14th. Here's the current block height. Here's the event block height. So we're looking at 840,000 blocks mined on Bitcoin, during which time the halving will take place. And so the prediction is that it's going to take some time, 123 more days, April 14th, before that occurs. Why is this done? Conventional fiat currencies allow governments or banks to print money and cause inflation. In Bitcoin's case, the total supply will be maxed out at 21 million Bitcoin. Printing extra money causes inflation. If there is no extra money printed, the value of the Bitcoin should increase as the demand will rise. More people will start to use Bitcoin and supply will lower or stay flat. So more Bitcoins are printed. No more Bitcoins are printed. This makes Bitcoin similar to gold, which has limited supply and cannot be printed or artificially created. The idea is that modern monetary system has allowed countries to print as much money as they want in order to fuel their necessities of war and mass production and so forth and so on. So on and so forth. However, which is why the value of current money is really worthless. I mean, the worth of money is derived from what people assign it to be. We are told that money is valuable because governments need it to be valuable. We use it as an official form of exchange. We use it to purchase goods because that's how it's been established. But the goal of Bitcoin is to be used as a form of exchange, as a means as a means of exchange and purchasing, giving people the purchasing power outside of the control of governments who print money at will. Just in 2020, they printed $3 trillion. The U.S. government, and the U.S. government debt continues to rise due to that and other factors, of course. However, Bitcoin and many other cryptocurrencies do not fall victims to this fallacy. So if we were to use Bitcoin for purchases, the number of Bitcoins would never change. It would never increase, yet the value of it would quite possibly increase because there is a continuous demand, but there is no supply. Supply is cut short, unlike fiat currencies. This is where Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies derive their value from, as well as the proof of work idea, which requires a lot of computational power. There's a lot of money that's invested into cryptocurrencies, and because of the halving mechanism, there are fewer and fewer bitcoins being created, which means it requires a lot more money to produce those bitcoins. Because with the same amount of money that I produce, let's say I purchased equipment for $10,000, which allows me to produce 6.25 bitcoins per block. Now with that same $10,000, I'll be producing only 3.125 bitcoins per block. The revenue that I create from those $10,000 is now halved. So in order to produce, to increase my revenue, I would have to invest more into the equipment and invest maybe $20,000 or $30,000 in order to produce revenue that was similar to what I was generating when Bitcoin was at a 6.25 Bitcoin per block emission level. If that makes sense. I hope it does. If it does, then make sure to smash up the likes on this video, subscribe to the channel, and of course come back for another video tomorrow. What is it going to be on? I don't know, but maybe if you are keen to find out, let me know in the comment section below. Maybe you have some questions. If there's something you would like to know about cryptocurrencies, maybe I can shoot a video on that. In the meantime, please again hit the like button. It's only a button. Subscribe, support the channel, share it with everybody else. If you like the content, then let me know, and I will see you in the next video. Crypto Father out.